Hey there, everybody. It's Denise Salcedo, and I am hanging out here with Todd Keneley and Jonathan King, who are our commentary heat team here at Up Next Fighting. So, guys, man, we are on the eve of starting UNF 5. We're also just a couple of weeks from UNF 6. It is just back to back to back. So, I want to ask you guys, as the voice of Up Next Fighting, how excited are you guys about UNF 5, UNF 6, and just everything UNF is doing? We'll start with you right over here.
Sure. UNF is bringing a platform to these young fighters that is unmatched on the California scene. We're doing a lot of great things. It's really exciting to be here, to have back-to-back events. It keeps us busy, which is good, and it keeps the fighters active, which is the point. We want to keep the fighters active. We want to keep them busy. That's how they earn their living. So this is all great for the fight scene. UNF is taking over, and it's just amazing to be a part of it.
Todd, thoughts?
Yeah, I totally agree with what John said. And I just love that UNF, they say that it's the future of the fight game, but I think it's past, present, future. Because, recently we had Curtis Melander, UFC vet, win championship gold. You got guys like Albert Morales that, have a lot of fights in the UFC. And then you've got the Rising Stars division, and you're seeing people cut their teeth, dip their toe in the pool for the first time in this sport. So you really see that whole spectrum of MMA. And then you see, talent like Chad George, Josh Barnett, cornering people. So you just see that family dynamic and the camaraderie, and it's awesome.
It's very cool to see. Now, I do want to ask you guys, because you guys are there up close and personal to the action. You guys see every hit, every kick, absolutely everything there. So I want to ask you, when you're up there and you're calling the action, what is it that's running through your minds while you're doing this? What's your favorite part of the job? Jonathan, I'll start with you.
Honestly, I try to clear my mind and just talk about what's happening in front of me. It's always good to have backstory and to tell the story of the fighters, but as an analyst, my job is to talk about what's going on in the cage. And being up close and personal with a little blood on your suit, it's a great way to see a fight. It's the best seat in the house, and gosh, I think Jimmy Hart said it best. When you dress like everybody else, you start to sit like everybody else. So I like sitting where I'm at, and I'm going to keep sitting there. So.
Hell yeah. Thoughts?
I'm with you. I've learned not to wear white shirts when we're sitting at cage side because it becomes polka dotted really quick. But like John said, you got to live in the moment. But we do take the time to meet with the fighters because so many of them have very interesting backstories. It takes a different type of person to commit and get in that cage and battle it out. So I do like to know that background. But at the same time, sometimes you've got tons of prep, and 15 seconds into a fight, somebody eats a head kick and goes down, and you have to constantly be able to shift gears. So it's very exciting, of course.
Now, I do want to ask you, because you guys have been calling all of the events, and we'll be calling the future ones as well. Who are some of the talents? Who are some of the guys that you guys have seen here that you're just like, man, I am so impressed with this person, whether they're whether they're in the amateurs? Who are some of your favorites?
I'm gonna go with Westside Dion Young. He's undefeated at the moment. And, he's just been knocking people out. The guy's super dynamic. We're out here in Southern California. His nickname's West Side. Everything just seems to gel with that guy. And he's got a rocket strapped to his back so far. We'll see if he can keep it rolling.
Awesome. Jonathan?
I'm a big fan of Hamza Trad. I really like this kid. He lost his first fight. He's been undefeated since then. He's been in some real tough wars, which is a testament not only to him but to the matchmaking here at Up Next Fighting. Ryan Buckner puts together a great amateur card, and Hamza is, I think, the future of the fight game. I think this kid's ceiling is ridiculously high.
Incredible. Now, we have been talking a lot about UNF and the fighters and everything, but I do want to learn a little bit more about you guys and have the people learn a little bit more about you. Your backgrounds, other things that you guys dabble in, how you guys got started in broadcast commentary. Todd, I'll kick it off with you.
Sure. Lifetime fan, was a huge pro wrestling fan as a kid, so I also do pro wrestling commentary and, worked for Impact Wrestling, Championship Wrestling from Hollywood, a bunch of different places. And then, started watching UFC when it started, when it was no rounds and no time limit and no weight classes, and you had a Kenpo karate guy against a sumo wrestler, and it felt like the Kumite, and then watching the sport evolve. So I've seen it from those early UFC pay-per-views all the way up into today, and I've had the ability to call for a number of promotions, but I've worked together with John now for several years, starting with CXF, which a lot of the admin and stuff have made their way over to UNF, and we just keep developing a chemistry, and he's a great guy to work with.
I love it. The partnership is there. What about you, Jonathan?
This is actually this month is my 15th year in combat sports. I like to say I can't really tell you how it started. The sport kind of chose me. I started writing about it. I wrote for MMA Junkie for a while, and then I met George. And ever since I met George, he's had me sitting front row cage side at the broadcast booth. So it really is a dream come true. When I was a kid, my stepfather used to turn down the volume on the boxing matches and say, "Hey, loudmouth, you call it." So that's how I really started. So this is really like a dream come true for me. It's I'm really living my dream, which is amazing.
That is so awesome. Well, it was nice to talk to you guys here, and it was nice to get to know. Oh, you want to add to that? Go for it.
1 second, Denise. I got to say, this background, I'm getting 80s wrestling vibes. So you're going to indulge me. I'm going to say, you know something, dude? We got Salsito here. We got the main man, Jonathan King, up on the throne, dude. What you going to do when Up Next Fighting runs wild on you?
That's the way to go, everyone.